In Section 2, we'll look closely at the identification and segregation of regulated medical waste. What is regulated medical waste? Although federal, state, and local laws may be a bit different, under the Medical Waste Tracking Act of 1988, the EPA listed 7 types of medical waste. 1. Microbiological waste. 2. Human blood and blood products. 3. Pathological waste. 4. Sharps. 5. Contaminated animal wastes. 6. Certain isolation wastes. This would include waste from patients with highly communicable diseases. And 7. Unused sharps. To properly dispose of regulated medical waste, it must be segregated or sorted by category. The categories are identified by universally known colored containers. The generator is responsible for properly segregating, packaging, labeling, and storing all regulated medical waste. The following are the current categories of regulated medical waste. Sharps, biohazard or red bag regulated medical waste, trace chemo or RCRA empty, RCRA hazardous waste, pharmaceutical waste, radioactive waste, municipal solid waste or regular trash. What is included in the Sharps container? These items would include needles and syringes. This would also include syringes without needles, scalpel blades, glass items such as pipettes, slides, and tubes, broken glass, staples and wires, disposable sharp instruments, and orthodontic wires. Open, unused sharps should always be discarded in a Sharps container as well. What should be included in the biohazard or red bag regulated medical waste? Or saturated disposables. This includes but is not limited to gauze, dressings, OB pads, gloves, and personal protective equipment. Containers, catheters, or tubing with blood present. Blood products. Empty IV bags with protected health information on them. IV tubing. Blood spill kit cleanup materials, sealed disposable Sharps containers. Pathological biohazardous waste would include organs or tissues, surgical specimens that are meant for disposal. In some states, pathological waste must be labeled and marked incineration only. Once again, please be reminded to know your state-specific guidelines. Trace chemotherapy waste, also known as RCRA empty. Trace chemotherapy by definition contains no more than 3% by weight of the original contents. Please note that some states may have different laws regarding bulk and residual chemotherapy. Items to be placed in this yellow container would include items used in the preparation and administration of chemotherapy, such as all personal protective equipment, IV tubing, empty bags and/or bottles, empty pharmaceutical vials, needles and syringes. This regulated medical waste must be segregated and marked incineration only. It can be included with other regulated medical waste in a secondary container if the outer container is also marked incineration only. The black RCRA hazardous waste container would include the following: outdated or bulk chemotherapy. This includes all chemotherapy that by the previous definition is not RCRA empty. Used cleanup kits for chemotherapy. An exception to this would be if a neutralizing cleanup kit was used. Hazardous medication including half or partial doses. P-listed medication and its packaging. Non-infectious dental waste, chemicals classified as hazardous, waste containing mercury or heavy metals. It's important to remember hazardous waste is characterized by possessing one of the following properties: ignitability, corrosivity, toxicity, reactivity. Pharmaceutical waste. The following are included in the blue pharmaceutical container: glass, vials, and ampules with residual medication, syringes and carpujets with residual medication, IV bags with residual medication, partially used prescription or over-the-counter medication. As a reminder, no chemotherapeutic medications are allowed in this container. Controlled substance waste must be managed according to the Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA. Controlled substance waste must be disposed, transported, and destructed in accordance with DEA regulations. This is a very brief overview on pharmaceutical waste, including chemo and controlled substances. This should be managed on a case-by-case basis. Generators and transporters should develop a solid plan for proper disposal. Radioactive waste. To be complete, the list of radioactive waste is included. However, this will require special handling and does not fall in the category and follow the requirements of regulated medical waste. Fluorine, 18. Technetium, 99. Iodine, 131. Strontium, 89. Iridium, 192. And cobalt, 60. Municipal solid waste. Segregating municipal solid waste from other regulated medical waste is an easy way to keep waste destruction costs down. The following items can go into municipal solid waste or regular trash, thus decreasing the volume of regulated medical waste. Unused medical supplies, unsoiled personal protective equipment, food, empty IV tubing with no needles or blood present, urine cups and stool containers, basins and bedpans, paper and plastic wrappers. Collection containers would not be considered regulated waste under OSHA's bloodborne pathogen standard unless the sample it contained is contaminated with blood or OPIM. Please be aware that OSHA does not regulate the final disposal of regulated medical waste. Please be advised that if an item is labeled biohazard, it may be rejected by your municipal solid waste company or landfill. Sorting and placing regulated medical waste into an appropriate approved container reduces risks to others. However, waste that isn't contaminated or hazardous should always be placed in a municipal solid waste container to reduce disposal costs.